I am Dungeon Master, your guide in the realm of Dungeons and Dragons.
So you want to play D&D? Well, you've come to the right place. And today, hopefully, I have a small review and tutorial that may help you decide whether this program here can help your group. It's called Tabletop Simulator. Before you ask, yes, it has multiplayer. Simply click on it and host as a server. Put in your server name, your password, the port you're using, and up to 8 players can be allowed to join and create the server. So what is it exactly that you get with this program? Well, I'm only going to address the D&D role-playing game aspect of it, but you can do many things with this game. So without further ado, let us go to the single player option. As you can see, these are many of the default boards that you can get, from checkers to dominoes to parcheesi to Chinese checkers, mahjong, as you can see. But I'm going today select just the empty tabletop for a moment. You have your table, which varies. You can use you can get different types of tables. I believe some people out there maybe even make model tables that you can use, but this is one of the default tables. And a default background. I will show you real quick some of the options that you have along the top and along the left hand side. So along the top, let me go into the host section and let me address the issues of tables. There are various types of tables, whether you want a hexagon or an octagon or a poker table. You have very different types of tables. For my demonstration, I'm going to pick a custom large table and just slam that down. Now, it is giving the option for a URL to be placed in here, which would be your background here, this white screen. Currently, you just have a white screen as your background, which can work for you as a D&D, as a DM. I think it's a bit bright for my tastes, but what you can do is with the white background and adding a grid, there you have your grid. And you can, of course, make it larger scale or smaller scale. And with that grids, you can also use hexes as well. Or any land,
wake up.
Any land-based maps or terrains you may use, and also snapping objects to the map. That being said, I still think this is a bit bright for my liking. So what you can do, for example, is let's go down and open up a browser window. I have no idea what's going to pop up, but I can promise you it's not going to be porn. Let's go to my default Yahoo page, and let's type in HD parchment paper. There we go. Pick up HD parchment paper, and you can, of course, look at the vast variety of types that they have and pick one that you think works for yourself. So for the sake of this demonstration, I'm going to pick this one with borders on the sides, so you can tell whether it's just laying multiple copies or stretching one copy across the top. I don't like this watermark in the back or whatever that is, so we're just going to have to let's pick this one here, the elegant design on the back. Go ahead and copy image location. Once we have that, go back into our game, and we're going to go ahead and go to tables. We're going to go back to our custom table again, but this time we're going to paste in our URL, and bam, there you have it. So you can have a decorative tabletop for your game, which works really well. Again, it depends on the background that you have. Personally, usually when I have done this, I've just gone with the straight, well, not that, of course, but gone with just a straight parchment look. Copy the image location again, host, tables, custom, and you are good to go. And there's your table. Works really well. Now, you are not only limited to using parchment paper. Any graphic that you think that you want to put down, like you've created a map in any of your game editors, such as Pro Fantasy or Dungini. The map can be an overland map, it can be a tavern, it can be anything. Matter of fact, what it can be, as I will demonstrate, let's go back and let's type in D&D map. Let's just grab something that we like. For example, this, because we've already seen what you can do with the land map. But let's say we've created something, or we've seen something that someone else has created that we want to use. We're going to go to our tables, going to go to custom, and we're just going to simply drop that map in there. Now, there we go. Of course, the map that we incorporated or brought in already had grids, so we don't need grids now, and that'll clean it up. Look at that. You have a nice tabletop map ready for your players. All you need is what? Dice, exactly, and some miniatures. So let's go ahead and do that. I will demonstrate that. So under host, you have another option called chest. This chest is basically kind of like your inventory. And you have some pre-made up stuff. You have chess pieces here, dice, which we'll go ahead and take some dice and we'll throw some out. I'm going to throw the plastic ones in. Throw in a D20, throw in a D12, got your 10-sided. Let's throw 2 10-sided in for percentile. Your 8-sided, no one ever just uses 1d6. You got a wizard in the group or somebody. Or let's say you're the wizard. You throw in 4 or 5 because you do fireballs. And there's an 8-sided or a 4-sided. So you have your dice. The great thing about the dice, now you can zoom in by rolling your mouse wheel or hitting Z to zoom in. Now the great thing about the dice is you can right click on them and you can change the color. There you have it. But let's stay masculine. Take your dice and simply roll on the board. Everyone can see it. They're all around the table. And you get a 14. Now, if you're throwing, let's say, I think I have 6 dice here, 5 dice. Here's this fireball we're throwing. We highlighted the whole area, and there's our fireball. Of course, you can use this for percentile, so let's make the this dice be the low number and the green the high number. So now we're going to roll, and of course we got a 53. Very good. So there are your dice. Again, there is metallic dice, as listed right here. The problem with the metallic dice is that, let me just close it up here. The problem with the metallic dice is you can't change their color. Even though it gives you the option, nothing's changing with it. And they also sound different when you roll them. Not just because that's the tabletop. Pay attention to the sound. Here's it on the here's the rolling on wood, and here's the rolling on the mat. Here's rolling on the wood, and rolling on the mat. So we've got our dice. We've got our map. But what about figures? Well, I'm glad you asked. Once again, we go down to our chests. We go to this RPG kit, which comes with the purchase. It's the developers made it. I will say this is extraordinary, and please keep making this, developers. And for you fans and supporters, keep talking about it in the forums. Beg them, plead with them. I would be willing to pay. Yes, I said pay for packets. And let me give you an example. Let's choose these villains, for example. I'm going to throw a troll out on the counter right here. And let's throw a goblin. Take a look at these figures here. Putting them on the map. So here we got a troll. Stick them on the map. There you have it. A troll. You've got your goblin. Now you notice that these are not just figures, but they're animated. Meaning when you pick them up, they begin to interact. You can use, if you hit the Q key real quick, that'll or question mark, it'll pull up your little menu. It tells you all the different things that you can expect to use to control this game. But here you have 1, 2, and 3. And does it have lists? This is the RPG figurine animations. These animations, for example, here's one. He equips and unequips his dagger. 2 is a combat strike. There are variations. They're not always the same, as you can see. Some have more than others, but of course without daggers he attacks differently. Well, if you call that attack, maybe he's casting a spell. With the troll, same thing. Just highlight. 1 gives him a club, 1 takes it away. Here's your attack. Your next attack. Come on, give me another attack, troll. Give me something different. There you go, overhand. And then take the thing away. He pounds. And I know he does a two-handed pound as well. There it is. I stopped him in animation. Come on, give it to me. You get the idea. And they also provide in the pack, people have asked for it and they responded, they give some hero figures. So here's a knight. All you do is you take the piece, you can roll your mouse wheel, and he'll rotate. And then drop him down. You can also use the keys Q and E to rotate left and right. So you have your knight. You can animate, of course, his attack. The troll responds, which is beautiful. And then also you can make the troll then die. And if he's down and he regenerates or whatever, you want him to come back up, hitting the 1, 2, or 3 key will bring him back up again. So those are your pieces. Let me just quickly tell you about what the animation does. Animation, you can do this with the plus and minus. You can shrink them, so they are scalable. And that's a little baby troll. And you can make him bigger too. Let me move this guy back now. He's just huge. Okay, so there's your massive troll. Let's see if take that, troll. Okay, not only with the animations, let me go ahead with some of the features above top. This man doing his bench press here, or his weightlifting, his overhead snatch and pull. This is the lift height. For example, picking up this piece lifts him that high off the ground. And of course, raising the bar raises how high you lift him, and lowering it shows how low you lift it. Why would you want to use this? Well, let me just say, if you're playing a game like chess where you're trying to pick up one piece and put them over the top of the other one to move, like let's say you have your front row of pawns and you're moving the knight out, like you're going to move him here. If you don't raise him up high enough, you'll actually clip the piece in front of you, as I will demonstrate here. Let me just lower him a little bit. And now I'll grab my piece and I'm going to move him forward, and I actually knock over the piece in front of me. The only way you can change that is either, there's 3 options. Swing around to the back and bring him to where you want him. You can, of course, raise his height distance, or the piece in front of you, you can lock him into place. And so if you do hit him, actually made me go over him. There's that. But that means you can't move this guy unless you want to unlock him again, and then he becomes unlockable. So you can raise their height, how high you lift them. What's nice about making it low, though, is that players on the map, like look at the that might be a bit low. You raise it just a little bit higher. Is that when you move them on the board, they'll move like they're walking. So let me rotate this guy a little bit to the there we go. So if I say he's moving to the right, 1 square, he's walking, but if I move him fast, so I can say you got this goblin running at you full speed, about to bull rush you. Yeah, the goblins are going to bull rush you. So there you have your map. And any image that you can find on the internet or that you've created, you can stick down here. And so I will demonstrate one of the purposes or uses besides this. What you can do is go ahead and put the dice out that you want, DM. Go ahead and put out the figures that you want. If there's a part of this room that you don't want them to see, you just simply go over to hide area. It's kind of like a fog of war, and the players won't be able to see anything in that box area. So you can have different box areas for that room in the dungeon and for a room over here. And so whatever you would stick in that area, for example, would be see, I can't lift them up because I lowered the deal. Okay, now he's in the fog and they will not be able to see him. So you create what you want. You just simply come up and you save it. And then when you're ready, you can load up the tables. So you can have one table for one part of the adventure, another table for another part of the adventure, another table for the next, such as what I'm about to demonstrate. I'm going to load up maybe the first part, which would be your map. I simply went online, found a map of Fay Run, and slammed it right here on the table. And then I went and added another tabletop. So I put a table on top of a table, which is this little plaque. And in the plaque, I loaded a graphic onto it. So not only do I have a map of the area that I'm going to be telling the characters about, I also have a map of the town that they're going to be going to. Of course, this map can be any map you use and name. You can have a map of Waterdeep, for example, and come over here and use the Fay Run map and let them know where they're going to be, close to Waterdeep or Neverwinter, whatever it is. Now, of course, being a land map, you probably want a grid on there. Just stick that in, and you're good to go. Now, you may want to come down to the key and make sure that your grid ref lines up with how you want it, so each grid represents the exact distance that you want. Or you can use a tool like this, which would demonstrate how far. So roughly about 2.8, or let's say 2.8 is 120 miles. So if you go up to the place and the characters are at, let's say, Daggerford, and you wanted to kind of get a rough estimate how long it would take them to get to, let's say, Waterdeep, which was what we were talking about. 2.8 miles was 120 miles, so it's going to be shy of 120 miles. Or you can do the math that way. Now, again, you can put a figure on the board, like a mage. Slap him on there. Represent him as the characters where they are on the map. You can use icons and tokens of any type of variety that you can find. He might be a little bit bigger than you want for the group. Hold up. You can stick arrows like that as well. But go ahead and shrink the piece and say, okay, the party is right here. And they're going to be traveling to the town that you made up over here on the side. It's going to be just, let's say, a small village. This small village, you can say, is right here on their way to the southeast. Now, what I've done is I've taken this board and I have locked it so they can't move it down. But if you want to unlock it, you can go ahead and then move it where you want so the players can interact with it. Now I'm going to raise this up. If there's something you don't want them to see besides smoking it out, what you can do is you can also just flip it and then lock it down. What else you can do apart from that is you give them the backdrop and the story. You've placed some figures out on the board, and now you would like to get into the part where they actually enter the town. I have downloaded someone else's little large village map. I'm going to demonstrate what you can do. Everything that you're about to see are just textures and packets that are out there. You can go ahead and save them and use them in your own library and build a map to your liking, to your specifications as you wish. So here's the town outside. It's going to load up in a moment. You can see the load time wasn't long. I'm already interacting with the map, swiveling around. Awesome. There's our party coming in the town. If you have the capabilities, perhaps you could play some sound over whatever recording devices you're using, such as whether you guys are on TeamSpeak or Ventrilo or Skype or whatever. You could play some sounds of, I don't know, cow noises and maybe the wind, maybe some noises of carts, and maybe depending if it's a city or not, you could put hustling, bustling. But here you clearly have a wonderful set of trees and rocks, even though that one's above ground there. And your village here. Now what you can do as well is everything you see here is able to be manipulated and added to your library. So if you grab, like I downloaded this, I did not do one bit of work of this map except there are some dice out here and there are the characters on the board. Everything else came prefab. But let's say you wanted to change things, and I'm about to demonstrate a problem with doing maps like this. You right click and you can save this square to your chest. So if you're building your own map, all you have to do is go to your chests and go to saved objects, and these are all the different things that you've saved. So you give it a name you'd remember, like a tile piece, pond or lake or whatever you want to call it. Then you can place it down. Now all these pieces here are locked into place. You can just simply take it, unlock it, and you can move it right off to the side. Now these tile pieces are wonderful. Again, you can just simply rotate them as you want and drop that piece in however you want to place it. There's tons of these pieces. Now if I turn lock to grid or whatever, it would fall in better, but I don't feel like doing that because I'm going to show you a problem with using pieces like this. The problem is when you lay a grid down, like a box grid, you do not see it on the tiles. It is actually below the tiles. And so that is one of the problems. I don't know if there's a way to make it lay on top or impose upon the top of the tile pieces. So you would have to use maybe something like this to indicate how far the characters can move. Perhaps you would come over, make the tile size the way you want it, and say, okay, to move 10 feet is to move 4. So a character making a 10-foot movement could move up to 4, and you could say, okay, yeah, you can move there. And you take your piece and, sorry, I grabbed the wrong one, and just move them. You get the idea. So that's the problem. Again, you can add anything to your library and sort it the way you want. Put it in any kind of pattern or order you want, flip it around, change it, and you're good to go. Anything you like here, if you like this campfire, you go, man, I really like this guy's pack, or, you know, this guy's got crap, I don't like anything, any of his models, but I do like his campfire. You can add that, quickly save, call it campfire, and save it. Then, if you want to add an object, go ahead and add, look for campfire. I do not see it. Oh, there it is. I think it adds it to the center of the map, so let's see where it drops. Yep, there it is. So there's the campfire that I added right there. Let me go ahead. The problem is it's locked in place, so I need to unlock it. It saves with the properties that it had when you copied it or when you saved it. So if the campfire had was locked in place here, it'll be locked in place when you pull it up out of your inventory. So here you can see the great qualities or the great uses of having these 3D terrains. But let's say they come into the town and they go into the ye old tavern of your naming, the Dragon's Inn, the Prancing Pony, whatever you call it. We're going to go ahead and load up, and this is a tavern I just downloaded off the workshop. This is a Pathfinder tavern, someone entitled it. And here you go. I've got my party. They are in the tavern. You can add some other pieces that represent your bartender and some patrons and the bar wench. Add some music perhaps of a bard playing a madrigal or something. Add some restaurant sounds or, you know, tavern sounds that you find online, and you've got some great immersion going on. What may kill the immersion is your backdrop. You may want to make that conducive to it, so that's up to you. You drop it in and you save it and you're good to go. But also the backdrop that you have here. And that can be changed as well. And I'll give you an example. Of course, by doing so, I'm going to be changing my map, but you'll get the idea. There's two ways. You could, I have, for example, a Skyrim background. Let me see if I can find it. Here it is. It's going to change the table, of course. And of course, what I would do is I would take a look at that. Just beautiful. Actually, it looks like Lord of the Rings Online as well, if you've been to the northern guys. But then you'd come in and you'd pick your games, and you'd pick here. And actually, sorry, come in and pick your table. Pick the one you want. Paste in the deal we had, and there you have it. And you're ready to go. And then you'd put in your tavern, load up your tavern, and you're good to go. A nice background. If you want to do something on the fly, what you can do is this. Go to your browser again. And I'm just giving an example of what I've done in the past. I'm going to type in Dark Cave. And I like this one. I'll load up. Copy the image location. Go back to your map. Go to Backgrounds. And go to Custom. And let's drop in. By the way, this looks like you're in the Matrix. You know, you're waiting for load in the weapons program. what's the guy's name? Bull, Dozer, whatever his name is. He loads it in, and guess what? Voila, you're in your cave. Nice and gloomy. You would make, of course, this. It's really good. Now you can load up anything. As you can see, here's the split line. What they've done is they've taken that graphic and they've just wrapped it around. So you want to find something that is, first of all, high quality as possible. 4,000 by 2,000, I believe, is the max, and also something that's very that lends to being panoramic. But you can, for example, if you were playing, I'll give you a good example. As I deviate from just D&D, for example, let's go to HD Nebula. I'm going to pick this nebula. Come on, load up well. That may be it. Let's pick something different. Let's go with this. Oh, that looks beautiful. Copy that. Come to our table. Let's go ahead and do a table custom. Sorry, what did I do? Throw in our nebula, and we're good to go. Come down to grids. Of course, you're playing a space game, so we're going to use hex. Show your lines. There they are. You've now got a space battlefield for playing Star Trek, Star Wars, whatever you're playing. Maybe even playing Traveler or something like that. Now that doesn't go well with the background, so let's kick out real quick. Let's go back one. And I thought this just looked beautiful as well. Which one did I think looked beautiful? Let's go with this one. Come on, load up faster. If you don't, I'm leaving you. Yep, leaving you like a bad habit. Let's go with this one. There we go, perfect. Copy that. Go back into your game. Come to backgrounds now. Go to custom. You've got the white matrix look. Load it in. Now, not only are you playing a star type game with the star type background and a backdrop, and what I've done is let me go ahead and grab this. I've grabbed some in my chest, some random pieces. I believe these are Alpha Squadron pieces from that Star Wars game, but you can see there's there we go. So whatever that game is that you play, you just load this in, and you've got now that. I believe I may have Alpha Squadron. I believe the other one's called is it Rookie Pilot? Yep, there it is. Now we've got our X-Wing. 2 X-Wings. And you're good to go. Now you can imagine doing this with any tabletop game you play, whether it's Mech Warrior, Battletech, Warhammer, and I've seen everything that I've mentioned. I've seen tiles and miniatures for those games in question. So if it's a sea-based game where you just want a map of the sea, or some type of a command and conquer game where you're trying to do the Napoleonic Wars, all you need to do is load up France and England or whatever map you're doing. Perhaps you're playing a game early Rome or something of ancient world. You just pull up maps like that, put in a grid, and just put in units that represent those tokens. Some of them, for example, as I will load up the workshop, I'll show you what's this X-Wing miniature game that I loaded up. You'll see as it loads up. There it is. You have all these pieces in the cards. The only thing you're missing really is your background and your table. Since I already have one pasted, I'll at least change the table. I won't worry about doing the backdrop, but you get the idea. So you've got your pieces, you throw in your grid, and you're good to go. There are also other types of games that you can get from the workshop, like Junior Monopoly. And again, you can take your cards. If you hold it down, you pick up the whole thing. If you shake left and right, it shakes the cards. To show that it works, let me just take the top card. Take the top card, hit F, you flip it over. Okay, looks like we've got looks like Honeymoon Hideaway. So let me go ahead and flip that card back over and stick it on the deck. Take it. Check it up. Top card off. And it's not the same card, as you can clearly see. So there's other types of Monopoly games, which I would recommend this one here if you are a fan of Mystery Science Theater. You've got only the backdrop of all the type of crazy movies that they've done, like Mitchell over here. Perfect. You also have a great top with the different movies as the locations you buy. You've got Mike, you got Joel, you got Crow, you got Tom over here, Dr. Forrester, TV's Frank. I mean, you've got them all. And again, some of these give you pouches. There are your houses. Here are your hotels. Perfect. So what else? Let me show you the two last aspects, and then we'll end this tutorial. One is what comes with this program. This program currently, I bought it for $10, basically $10 on Steam. It was 30% off, I believe. 15 is the most you'll pay. They had a 4-pack for $30. But let's go ahead and go to games. I'm going to show you the RPG tabletop. Okay, there you go. This is everything that they've developed besides the hero pieces that I've already put down. They've got a wyvern. Well, I'm not going to talk about them. These are all the pieces that you have. So there are dungeon tile pieces as well. So you can lay these down, lock them into place, build your dungeon. If you're having trouble moving them over, like I said, just do the snap the grid feature, and that'll make it to where they snap into place and then they can't be knocked over. You can take your walls then, rotate it however need, and you're ready to build. Again, if you're lifting too high, all you have to do is lower your slide bar so you're not pulling it as far. But once you build your dungeon, save it, fog of war it, and load it up when your players are ready to play and let them go at it. These are the pieces that they currently have, made by this company or the developers. Everything's animated, and they all do their little types of attacks and maneuvers. Again, all these things are scalable, which is wonderful. So this little wolf here, a rat, you could make it larger and make it into a hellhound, or even a horse, I guess, if you wanted, or make this guy into a puppy or something. I don't know. So there you have it. Again, if you don't like this wyvern or it's not large enough, you can just bada bing, bada boom, now it's a dragon, or whatever you want to do. So those are the pieces that they currently give you. I believe I may have one down here called, these are ones I've downloaded. Various models. Let's take a look at this. Okay. Loads up. Let's say you don't want all these models. That's okay. Just right click and save the ones that you want and pull them into your dungeon that you're building. But these are just some of the pieces that you can see that somebody's designed. You can recognize these houses as a part of that village. Most of these pieces you could probably recognize, but there's that fireplace. But you can create your own village, so you just do anything you need. Now the difference is you can tell that these pieces here are not animated, but they are scalable. So load up your tavern and you've got your bar wench, and then you're good to go. And all you need to do is simply go to the workshop, the stuff you've downloaded, find what you're looking for. I don't know what this is. I'm just going to give it a random check to see if there's pieces that we... Oh, this is more than I want to tell you about. And of course, I already wrote on the map. This player has created a D&D session. What he's done is he's given you the graph paper, your battle mat. He's given each person their dice and their colors. So, for example, you just drag the dice out, and there they are. Each time you drag one, a different dice comes out. So you've got blue, you've got green, etc., etc. He is smoked out this area so players can't swing around and see what's on his tablet device. And you'd be thinking, what is that all about? Well, take a look at this. Each person has a tablet at their workstation or at their place at the table when they load in. And as I said, you can have up to 8 people, 1, 2, 5, and 5. Or sorry, 1, 2, 3, and 3 is 8. So here's the tablet. Believe it or not, you can interact with this tablet. Just click on it. Let's come up here. Let's go to yahoo.com. And there you have it. So if you had your Dropbox and you copy and paste, throw in your character sheet, you're good to go. Or let's see, I think it's www.srd20. I don't know what it's called. It's called let's do a search real quick. d20srd.org. Okay, so you just the reason I typed it in is last time I clicked on the hyperlink. Let's say you want to look at epic feats. There you go. There's your epic feats. You want to look at whatever this is. There you have it. And you can read about it right there. So you do have the rules in front of you. I would imagine then that if you can do this, then there is a way for you to somehow use your PDFs of your 3.5 stuff, your 4.0, your 5. Your Pathfinder stuff, whatever game system you use, you can find it in here. And everyone has a tablet. Again, they are locked to the grid, but you can unlock it and then move it around. And you could, if you wanted, for example. So the DM could have some videos perhaps he's created he wants you to see. And you can just check them out. Again, you click here. Oops. So the other feature I'll show you before I stop. Again, I was just trying to load up somebody's workshop that had actual that's Ultimate Dungeon. No, I'm looking for tiles. Let's try this. Modular tiles. Perfect. Take a look at this. This guy has gone in and he's created floor patterns here. Everything's in the bags, by the way. You just drag them out. There's extra stuff. But you can basically highlight Control-C, Control-V, Control-V, Control-V. So you can copy and paste. And I believe if you do it that way, you can, if you're moving your mouse, you may be able to lay them down. Sorry, paste it. You got to space a little bit better, but you get the idea, and then lock them in. But there you have doors. The reason why he's made 2 different doors, basically you copy one, then you copy it again, and you flip it around, because you can rotate them and flip them. But different types of doors, different types of walls, some walls with bases, like such, and then some without. He's made some type of gates and bars. He's made different types of steps. He's made different types of wells and columns. Of course, over here, the same thing. He's made water patterns, grass terrain, and lava. And so anything you like from this, all you have to do is just right-click and add it to your chest. And you can make your own little hodgepodge of what it is you like to use out of the best of what you've seen. And how you do that simply is you come up to Host, you go to Workshop, and you click on Open and Overlay. Your Steam window will pop open, and this is the Tabletop Simulator. From here, you can peruse all the wares that they've got. And of course, like here, this is a background. It's very popular apparently, but this is what you can expect to be looking at when you're playing. Flip around and seeing this. But again, type of game that you're into, whether it's strategy, which I think incorporates everything from Risk to X-Wing. There's some Y-Wings up there. It's Battletech. I don't know most of these games, to be honest, but I'm just kind of perusing so you can see. Now you can look at the buffers. There's 20 buffers full of this crap. you can just download what you need. They may have Robinson Crusoe. See what I mean? Here's a Shadowrun prototype. I have no idea what it gives you. Oh, that's what he's trying to do. And people rate it. So there may be a lot of good stuff and just a lot of just junky type stuff. Again, this is under card games. You can check role-playing games. Let me uncheck the strategy. Of course, because you can see under miscellaneous, you have templates, custom models. So if you're looking for somebody's models that they've used, for example, this BattleTech board, there may be there may be Lord of the Rings stuff. There may be D&D mini stuff. There may be like here's BattleTech textures. Someone's basically made the gray versions of all the different mechs that you get in the box set, from your 100-ton Atlas to your 20-ton Lotus. Here's a Pathfinder Tavern. That's the one that you saw that I downloaded. It's as simple as that. Now, if there is something you like, small road encounter, for example, let's take a look at what this guy's made. Looks like a road and trees on each side, and a wagon perhaps. Let's say we want that. Just simply subscribe. Hit the escape key. Look for small road encounter now on my list. Let's see. To the top. Small road encounter. There we have it. All you need to do is throw a couple figures in, throw your orcs off to the left and right, get your dice ready, and you're ready for tabletop D&D. I hope this video has been instructional for you to what you can expect out of this product and what you can do with it if you have the incentive. Add this with some sound, throw in some wind blowing, throw in some sounds of battle, and the characters can really kind of feel like the immersion level, I guess, that you're looking for. I've showed you the different types of tables. I've showed you the backgrounds. I've showed you the chests. The turns, it's not so important in D&D because none of this stuff is automated. If you're looking for a game that does everything automated, that interacts with your stats, your bonuses, I highly recommend Fantasy Grounds. It is what you want, trust me. But if but it doesn't give you this level of the gameplay, so it may be a combination of both. But turns are more towards card games and such. Only the host can see this, but up in the top right corner, you have your back arrow and then your up arrow, and it lets you basically go back one turn and up one turn. And if a dice roll was made, you can literally go back and it'll unroll it. Under your menu, again, you can change your colors. What that changes is not only the color of your hand, I changed it to green, but it changes the color of the pencil that I'm writing with, which you can't see because I can't write on top of a model. You can create your own rules. Start typing here. Be nice to, you have a notepad which you can take your own notes, or you can switch it to private so it's only for yourself, but everyone gets to see the notes here. So that can be somewhat useful, but it's kind of a small sheet and it's not as practical as you would think. Type in what you want and just keep going down. See, it doesn't go down any further, so it's at least, so that's that. Apart from that, the last thing I'd like to close with, oh, check it out, it's over here. Last thing I would like to close with is flipping the table. And I will say goodbye, and I hope you like this video. If you're looking for a great first-person shooter immersive game to get into, look at my videos on the 15th MEU. They're fantastic. And I will end with this. Goodbye. Oh, the humanity!